They've done it. Glasgow have won the URC. Scottish team does get their trophy, and the Bulls have been left with that's 2 URC finals made and 2 URC finals lost for the Bulls. 21-16 to Glasgow, 3 tries to 1. Yeah, and may I just say, the better team won. It wasn't really the fact that, the Bulls were that bad. It's just Glasgow were better. Which, yeah, I've seen lots of people going, "Oh, the Bulls were terrible. The Bulls were terrible." The Bulls weren't terrible. Glasgow just played them off the park. Same with Munster. Munster weren't that bad against Glasgow. It's just Glasgow played them off the park. Now, looking at the game, Bulls got a very early penalty in the first minute. Probably Bulls had the run in the first half. They were 13-0 up after a try from Van Staden and a couple of penalties from Hoosen. And then just on the stroke of half time, Scott Cummings strikes, and I think this is the vital try, the vital moment in the game, when Scott Cummings goes over just on half time for Glasgow, which just puts it from 13-0 to 13-7, which, you look at it in 13-7 at half time, when you've been up against it the whole game, because I do think Bulls were probably the better team in the first half. First 30 minutes or so, and then the Bulls started to tire because Glasgow's defence yet again incredible. They made like 93% of tackles. They never gave up. Even at the end of the game, they were by far the fitter team. And I did say in the build-up, Bulls cannot try and out tire Glasgow, because Glasgow would win that even in the altitude, and they did comfortably. The Bulls' defence was really what let them down in the end. So it was kind of just a game of who had better defence. The Bulls missed 1 in 4, so they only had about a 75-ish% tackle success rate. So when you're missing 1 in 4 tackles, you're gonna struggle. But no, Turner went over. We needed to have at least one maul try in the game that probably the 2 most physical maul teams in the league. You needed at least one maul try, and we did get one. 53 minutes, George Turner in his final game for Glasgow gets it. Hugh Jones then goes over in 62, which was the try that gave Glasgow the lead. And then they held. I thought that Dempsey was incredibly unlucky to get his try ruled out in my eyes. I get why he gave it a tackle off the ball, but in my eyes, I thought the ball had already passed him. I thought the player had just missed the ball, and the tackle was timed to perfection. It's just that the player missed the ball. So I actually don't think there was anything wrong with the try, but it doesn't matter at the end of it, does it? I thought Glasgow were incredible. I think there's quite a few names in there who must be in the story for some of the best players in the position in the world there. Jack Dempsey, the Fagerson brothers, Hugh Jones, Sione Tuipulotu, Josh Mackay, all of them must be in that conversation for... Josh Mackay, he's Scottish. He becomes qualified for Scotland in November. So surely he's got to start featuring. 15, he'll be behind Blair Kinghorn, maybe Ollie Smith if he can ever get fully back fit. But when Hogg left about a year ago, I was worried about depth in that position. Now it looks like we've got 2 or 3 decent players at 15. So looking good. Tom Jordan, the fly half, I thought, for the relative inexperience he's only had, I think he's had less than 20 appearances for Glasgow, but he's looked really good. I know the media's been pushing him as... I've been seeing a few reports from media, unsurprisingly, saying English qualified. He is English qualified, yes, but he's also Scottish qualified. And I'm sorry, but surely that's what you'd want to focus on. But, I'm not going to get in the ramble, but UK media always just glaze England every single time. But yeah, just Glasgow were incredible. And I'm struggling to find what to say. Glasgow were just immense. And I'm still over the moon. I mean, I know I'm more Edinburgh myself, as you can see by the massive flag behind me. But a Scottish team winning a major trophy is huge. And the fact that at least half of that Glasgow team is Scotland, and a lot of the leaders in the Scotland pack are Glasgow. You know, you've got Fagersons, you've got Topolotu, Kyle Steyn, all of them. I know there's more Scottish qualified, but they are more leadership players. Those are players who a lot of the other squad look up to, and they know how to win now. They've done it. Can they put that in the national team? Also with players like Blair Kinghorn, who's just won the Champions Cup, Finn Russell, who's pulled Bath from God knows where at the bottom of the Premiership to almost winning the final. So I do think, on a club scale, something's coming in Scotland. The only problem is how bad Edinburgh are. But I think that will come. I've got a video coming up, probably in a week or so, about Masesi Topolotu. I believe it's Masesi. Sione Tupolotu's brother coming up, and I think he's going to transform Edinburgh's attack and just give them that little extra that they need to start being at the top level. But yeah, Glasgow win the URC. This is their second title ever. They won it when it was still the Pro 12 in 2015. They have made the final 2 other times. They made it, was it the year before? And then they made it in 2019, which I was actually at because it was at Celtic Park. That was a beautiful game, that. I think they do need to go back to that. I did keep my mouth shut over this debate about neutral finals. I think they should pick the final before the game. And yes, it will mean that teams may need to travel, so what? Champion sides. Well, the final's been held in South Africa all 3 years. It's been twice won by the away teams, so this travel malarkey, you can shove it up your arse. It's bull. So I think they should pick a final, and it'd be great for countries like Italy and Wales. Countries whose teams don't look anywhere near making the final. To get that final, to get that in. And yes, okay, it might mean that if there's a South African team versus an Irish team playing in Italy, the crowd might not be that great. But so what? It'll be great for the thing. And that's the whole point of the URC, is to grow the game in multiple countries at once. Showcase some of the best players, best teams from some of the best rugby nations in the world. South Africa, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Italy. All of those countries are top-end rugby nations, all constantly feature in the World Cups, all constantly play each other, all constantly are there. But I mean, you've got the 2-time world champions, you've got the 2-time Six Nations champions, you've got Wales, you've got the 4 times Calcutta Cup champions. That was obviously a joke with the Calcutta Cup, of course. I'm not that bad sometimes, but no, it's they need to just pick the final. I remember, as I said, Celtic Park, they picked it at the start of the thing. I believe we bought tickets for it when Glasgow made the semi-final. And that made the viewing of the semi-final so much better, because it's like, we'd go either way. I think it was Glasgow Munster. Was it Glasgow Ulster? It was Glasgow versus one of the Irish teams. And it was like, we'd still go if it was Munster, Leinster, obviously. But the home team, it just added to it. I think they need to bring that back. Pick the final venue before the tournament begins and just go with that. But don't take this away. What a result for Glasgow. What a result for Scotland on a whole. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the final. Yeah, that's all I can say. Bulls weren't bad. Glasgow were just better. And I think that's the pill that Bulls needs to swallow. But yeah, thank you very much, and I shall see you legends later.